when I was 11, I picked stocks. I had the whole wrong idea. I was interested in watching stocks, and I thought stocks were things that went up and down, and I charted them. I read books on technical analysis. I read Edwards and Mickey. I think that was the classic then. Hundreds and hundreds of pages. And I read that whole thing over and over again. I read Garfield, Drew, I read everything. And I thought the first 8 years, I thought the important thing was to predict what a stock would do and predict the stock market. And then I read Ben Graham, when I was 19 or 20. And I realized that I was doing it exactly the wrong way. But it didn't hurt that I had that background and everything. And I rejiggered my mind when I read the book, The Intelligent Investor. And from that point, I never bought another stock. I bought businesses that happened to be publicly traded. But I became an owner of a business, and I did not care whether a stock went up or down the next day or the next week or the next month or the next year. And I didn't have any idea what it would do. I didn't know what the stock market would do, but I knew businesses.
To have success in the long run, you've got to love what you do. Buffett believes that finding your passion and sticking to it is the key to success. By doing what you love, you'll have the motivation to keep going even when things get tough.
I'm a bright guy who's terribly interested in what he does. So I've spent a lifetime doing it, and I've surrounded myself with people that bring out the best in me. And you don't need to be a genius in what I do. That's the good thing about it. If I went into physics or a whole lot of other subjects, I'd be an also-ran. But I am in a game that you don't need. You probably need 120 points of IQ, but 170 doesn't do any better than 120. It may do worse, probably do worse, but you don't really need brains. You need the right orientation. 90% of the people, I'm pulling a figure out of the air, but 90% of the people that buy stocks don't think of them the right way. They think about something that they hope goes up next week. And they think about the market as something they hope goes up. And if it's down, they feel worse. I feel better. And I hope it goes down when I buy it because I'll buy more. I try to keep my competitive spirit in a game where I can win. I do know this. When I want to do something, I always want to do it. I put my whole net worth in City Service Preferred, March 11, 1942. I have never had less than 80% of my money in American business. You can call them stocks, but I see them as American business.
Buffett's success speaks for itself. By investing in strong, stable businesses over the long term, he became one of the richest people in the world.
I've owned a piece of American business for at least 80% at all times. I don't want to own anything else. I want to own a home and things my family wants and all that. But owning 5 homes doesn't mean anything to me because I'm going to be happy in one home, and there's a certain amount of things that go wrong with everything. And if I got 2 homes, I know I've got more problems and I don't have more happiness. I would have to honestly say that what makes me happiest is what I'm doing. I enjoy 2 things about it. One, I know I'll win over them. Doesn't mean I'll beat everybody else or anything like that, but I'm in a game that's very, very, very easy if you have the right lessons in your mind about what you're buying. I'm not buying stocks. I'm buying pieces of overwhelmingly American business. And I'm happy when that's happy, when that's what I'm doing. I'm happy when stocks are going down. I'm happier when stocks are going down because I can buy more of them for the same amount of money. I'd be happy if I was a farmer. I'd want farmland to go down so I could buy more acreage. If I was, it just makes sense. And I'll tell you the second thing I do like. I like being trusted. I would rather do what I do with partners than do it sitting in a room myself even though I might make more money that way. I need to know that I think that Berkshire Hathaway is going to be worth more money someday down the road. Not tomorrow. I want it to go down if I'm buying something. I would say this, the world has changed a lot since that report was written. But the world changed a lot in 2000, 2 years ago. Let's pretend there is no stock market. Let's say I had to buy these privately, like you buy a farm privately, like you buy an apartment house privately. They're investments. So you're looking to say, what can I do with money I've saved to put it away so I feel good about getting it back later under any circumstances, but not necessarily on a given moment. But if I have a farm, it's going to take me a while. But people would be so much better if they actually didn't have a stock market in terms of buying businesses. But, and when you're buying businesses, don't call them stocks. When you're buying businesses, when you're buying apartment houses, sometimes when you're buying raw land, all kinds of things. There's times when you get a chance to act and do something really intelligent. It may happen once every 10 years, once every 20 years. Depends on what field you're in, where you live, what you know, all of that. But most of the important things, there's a lot of foundational work. The United States economy, and it's very easy to look at the statistics of it. I mean, more people, a greater percentage of the American population is wealthy now, or having more income now than they've ever had. And if you look at whether Bank of America will give you their average deposit, I mean, you just look at the wealth that's out there, and that doesn't mean everybody's wealthy, but it does mean relative to any other period of time, people have more money now. They get mortgages at lower rates than they've ever gotten. So if they want an environment where the bottom 2% in terms of income in the United States, the bottom 5%, and for sure the top 1%, all live better than John D. Rockefeller was living when I was 6 years old. John D. Rockefeller was the richest man in the world. And today, you can get better medicine, better education, better entertainment, better transportation. You can do everything better than him. You can, it's astounding. That's in my lifetime. That if you want to watch a football game, he still had to go there. and I can sit there with this big screen, and they keep showing me the replay, so that and explaining to me what happened. And maybe everybody doesn't have a screen as big as mine, but damn near everybody has a screen or an iPhone or a computer or access to one, and they have access. I mean, when I was born, the dentist didn't use Novocaine. There's no country that's done what our country's done. If you go back 3 of my lifetimes, you're looking at less than 1% of the world's population, closer to half of 1%. Half of 1% of the people in the world are sitting in this land. They don't work harder than people in all the rest of the world. I mean, in terms of hours of unpleasant labor, everybody's got hours of unpleasant labor in those days practically. They don't come laden with gold and, they are half of 1%. And they work the same hours, they got the same IQs. They may be a little self-selected in terms of enterprise, in terms of going across oceans and things. And fast forward a couple of lifetimes, and they've got 20% plus of all the bounty in the world. I mean, that is something that has worked like nothing. Just imagine that. If you've gone to anybody, Constitutional Congress, in 1789, if you go to any one of the representatives there, and you said, I want to tell you what this place is going to look like, in 3 more of your lifetimes, your great-great-grandchildren, are going to be flying in the skies, they're going to be watching sports all over the world, they're going to be entertained, their medicine. They could hold you off to a lunatic society. When Thomas Edison did all the things he did, he made some money, but we better, we're using it.
Yeah.
It belongs to us, and it doesn't. If you take what an hour of labor delivered to you 100 years ago, and what an hour of labor delivers to you now for you and your family, it's unbelievable.
I was working at a financial firm in New York City with a bunch of very smart people, and I had a brilliant boss I much admired. I went to my boss and told him I was going to start a company selling books on the internet. He took me on a long walk in Central Park, listened carefully to me, and finally said, "That sounds like a really good idea, but it would be an even better idea for someone who didn't already have a good job. You can have a job, or you can have a career, or you can have a calling. And if you can somehow figure out how to have a calling, you have hit the jackpot, because that's the big deal."
Jeff Bezos, 25 years ago, and he told me, "Dave, I want you to invest in my company. What are you doing?" "I'm going to start a bookstore in my garage." "Okay, and I'm going to put it online. People will buy online, and I'm going to ship out of my garage. But if you invest in me, Dave, someday I'm going to be the richest man in the world. I'll do over $100 billion. First of all, there's no such thing as $100 billion 25 years ago. Statistically, there's no such thing. Countries didn't have 100. Our national debt wasn't $100 billion. And this dude's telling me at 26 years old that he's going to be the richest man in the world because he has a garage and the internet? That was his truth. No, but he did not know it, and neither did I. But the difference between him and I is I was laughing, scoffing, and jesting at him, and he was already applauding himself, going, at the right way, at the perfect time, I'm going to make as much as I can as quickly. And I'm sitting there going, there's no way this is going to be a big business.
Do something you're very passionate about, and don't try to chase what is kind of the hot passion of the day. Seen in that light, it really was a difficult choice. But ultimately, I decided I had to give it a shot. I didn't think I'd regret trying and failing. And I suspected I would always be haunted by a decision to not try at all. After much consideration, I took the less safe path to follow my passion, and I'm proud of that choice. As a young boy, I had been a garage inventor. I'd invented an automatic gate closer out of cement-filled tires. A solar cooker didn't work very well out of an umbrella and aluminum foil. Baking pan alarms to entrap my siblings. I'd always wanted to be an inventor, and she wanted me to follow my passion. It's a military phrase that I especially love, and it says, "Slow is smooth and smooth is fast." And I have seen that in every endeavor I've ever been in. That's the kind of thing that really allows you to make progress. You know, you get certain gifts in life and you want to take advantage of those, but I guess my advice on adversity and success would be to be proud not of your gifts, but of your hard work and your choices. So, you may be, the kinds of gifts you get in life, you might be really good at math. It might be really easy for you. That's a kind of gift. But practicing that math and taking it to the next step, that could be very challenging and hard, and take a lot of sweat. That's a choice. You can't really be proud of your gifts because they were given to you. You can be grateful for them and thankful for them. But your choices, you choose to work hard. You choose to do hard things. Those are choices that you can be proud of. You can choose. We all get to choose our life stories, and it's the choices that define us, not our gifts. Everybody in this room has many gifts. I have many gifts. You can never be proud of your gifts because they're gifts. They were given to you. You might be, tall, or you might be really good at math, or you might be extremely beautiful or handsome, or there are many gifts, and you can only be proud really of your choices, because those are the things that you are acting on. And one of the most important choices that each of us has, and you know this just as well as I do, is you can choose a life of ease and comfort, or you can choose a life of service and adventure. And when you're 80, which one of those things do you think you're going to be more proud of? You're going to be more proud of having chosen a life of service and adventure. We've never been a better time to be alive. I mean, it's just incredible, the amount of inspiration that the world generates for me, and I think for a lot of people. It's insane, the amount of change and invention and opportunity. Your life, the life you author from scratch on your own, begins. How will you use your gifts? What choices will you make? Will inertia be your guide, or will you follow your passions? Will you follow dogma, or will you be original? Will you choose a life of ease, or a life of service and adventure? Will you wilt under criticism, or will you follow your convictions? Will you bluff it out when you're wrong, or will you apologize? Will you guard your heart against rejection, or will you act when you fall in love? Will you play it safe, or will you be a little bit swashbuckling? When it's tough, will you give up, or will you be relentless? Will you be a cynic, or will you be a builder? Will you be clever at the expense of others, or will you be kind? Every time you figure out some way of providing tools and services that empower other people to deploy their creativity, you're really onto something. You're very lucky if you have a career. A lot of people end up with a job. If you don't love your work, you're never going to be great at it. Jules Verne, Mark Twain, Galileo, Newton, all the curious from the ages would have wanted to be alive, most of all, right now. As a civilization, we will have so many gifts, just as you as individuals have so many individual gifts as you sit before me.
You don't have to be rich to start, but you have to start to be rich. What if I told you that becoming a millionaire in 1 year is more possible than you think? Most people believe that wealth is only for the lucky, the privileged, or those born into the right circumstances. But the truth is, wealth is built, not wished for. It's not about luck. It's about strategy, mindset, and execution. The reason most people stay stuck in financial struggle isn't because they lack talent or intelligence. It's because they never fully commit to the process. They dream about success, but they never take the massive focused action required to achieve it. The good news, if you're willing to shift your mindset, develop the right skills, and take decisive action, you can create financial success faster than you ever imagined. Millionaires aren't special. They just follow specific, repeatable principles that allow them to multiply their wealth and opportunities. And today, I'm going to share with you the 10 key strategies that can help you achieve millionaire status in just 12 months. Stay with me for the next few minutes as I break down the exact steps you need to take, the mistakes to avoid, and how you can transform your financial future starting right now. Let's dive in. Number 1, the decision that changes everything. Most people never become millionaires because they never make a real decision to do so. They dream about wealth. They wish for financial freedom. But when it comes down to taking action, they hesitate. They wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or some external force to push them forward. But here's the truth. Success doesn't wait for anyone. The moment you make an unshakable decision, where failure is no longer an option, is the moment your life begins to change. A true decision is not just saying, I want to be rich. It's about cutting off all other options and fully committing to the path ahead. The word decision comes from the Latin root decider, which means to cut off. When you make a decision, you cut off excuses, doubts, and the comfort of mediocrity. This is what separates the wealthy from those who only talk about success. Millionaires don't hope to make money. They decide to make it happen, no matter what. Think about your life right now. Are you waiting for the right time? Are you blaming your circumstances? The truth is, there will never be a perfect time. There will always be obstacles, challenges, and fears. But the people who achieve extraordinary success are the ones who decide anyway. They take control of their destiny instead of waiting for it to be handed to them. Take the story of someone who went from nothing to millions. Maybe it's an entrepreneur who started from a garage, a self-made investor, or a salesperson who transformed their financial future. What they all have in common is that one pivotal moment where they said, "Enough is enough, I will do whatever it takes." That decision became the fuel that drove them through every setback, failure, and challenge, until they reached success. Now here's where most people get stuck. Fear of failure. They think, what if I make the decision and I fail? But failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. Every successful person has failed more times than they can count, but they refuse to let failure stop them. The real failure is never starting. So ask yourself, what if today was the day everything changed? What if right now you decided that nothing will stop you from reaching your financial goal? Imagine a year from now looking back at this very moment and realizing that this was the decision that set you on the path to becoming a millionaire. But if you don't decide today, what happens? Nothing. A year will pass and you'll still be in the same place, wondering why life hasn't changed. That's the price of indecision. Wasted time, missed opportunities, and untapped potential. Now it's your turn. Make the decision. Write it down. Say it out loud. Commit to it. From this moment forward, your financial future is in your hands. The journey starts now. Number 2, setting an unstoppable financial goal. Success doesn't happen by accident. Every millionaire you admire, every financially successful person you see, got to where they are by setting clear, specific goals and relentlessly pursuing them. Yet, most people fail because they set vague goals like, I want to be rich, or I want to make more money. But what does rich mean? How much is more? Without a clear financial target, you have no direction, and without direction, you'll end up nowhere. Imagine getting into a car with no destination. You drive aimlessly, hoping you'll end up somewhere great. But instead, you waste time, gas, and energy. That's exactly how most people approach wealth. They drift, they hustle, they work hard, but they don't move toward anything specific. Millionaires don't operate this way. They set precise goals that guide their actions every single day. If your goal is to become a millionaire in 1 year, you must define exactly how much money you need to make per month, per week, and per day. $1 million in a year means approximately $83,333 per month, $19,230 per week, or $2,739 per day. Now, instead of just saying, I want to be rich, you have a measurable target that tells you exactly what you need to aim for. Once you set your financial goal, the next step is reverse engineering the process. How will you generate that income? Will it come from one high-value business, multiple income streams, investments, or a combination of strategies? If you're selling a product or service, how many units or clients do you need per month to hit your goal? This is how successful entrepreneurs think. They don't just set goals, they break them down into actionable steps. Another critical factor in goal setting is writing it down. Studies have shown that people who write down their goals are significantly more likely to achieve them. There is power in putting your financial target on paper, making it real and reviewing it daily. But don't just write down your goal, visualize it. Picture yourself already achieving it. Imagine how your life will change when you reach that $1 million milestone. Visualization primes your subconscious mind to look for opportunities and take action toward your goal. But here's the challenge. Your goal must be specific and deeply meaningful to you. If you're chasing $1 million just because it sounds good, you won't have the motivation to push through when things get tough. Ask yourself, why do I want to be a millionaire? Is it for financial freedom, security for your family, the ability to travel, or to build something bigger than yourself? When you have a compelling reason, your motivation becomes unstoppable. However, setting the goal is just the beginning. The real work is in the execution. Millionaires don't just hope their goals come true. They take consistent, focused action every single day. This is where most people fail. They set a big goal, get excited for a few days, and then lose momentum. But success doesn't come from excitement. It comes from daily commitment. Think of it like going to the gym. If you work out once, nothing changes. If you work out consistently for months, you transform your body. The same is true for your finances. Your wealth won't grow from a single action. It will grow from repeated efforts, smart decisions, and constant learning. Lastly, be prepared for setbacks. No journey to $1 million is smooth. There will be failures, unexpected expenses, and challenges you didn't see coming. But setbacks don't mean your goal is impossible. They're just part of the process. The key is to adjust, not quit. If something isn't working, change your approach, but never change the goal. Right now, you have a choice. You can continue drifting without a clear financial direction, or you can take control of your future. Decide today. Set your financial goal, break it down, write it down, and commit to taking action every day. This is how millionaires are made. Number 3, the money-making skill formula. If you want to become a millionaire in 1 year, there is one undeniable truth you must understand. Money follows skills, not dreams. Most people hope for wealth, but they never develop the skills that create value in the marketplace. That's why they struggle financially. Money isn't some mystical force that appears out of nowhere. It is exchanged for value, and the more value you provide, the more money you make. The difference between someone making $50,000 a year and someone making $1 million a year is not luck, connections, or even intelligence. It's the level of skill they bring to the table. Think about the world's highest paid individuals, entrepreneurs, top salespeople, investors, business owners. What do they all have in common? They have mastered a skill that allows them to generate massive income. Skills are the foundation of wealth. And the good news is, anyone can develop them. No one is born a master at sales, marketing, investing, or leadership. These are learnable, trainable, and scalable skills. If you focus on developing high-income skills, your path to $1 million will be much faster. So what are the skills that will take you to millionaire status? While there are many, the most powerful ones fall into 5 major categories. Sales and persuasion are at the top of the list because the ability to sell anything to anyone is a guaranteed way to generate wealth. This includes direct sales, copywriting, negotiation, and closing deals. Digital marketing is another powerful skill, as understanding how to market products or services online through social media, ads, and email marketing creates limitless financial potential. Investing in wealth management are crucial because knowing how to grow money through stocks, real estate, or business acquisitions ensures long-term financial success. Business and leadership skills allow you to run and scale a company, lead teams, and build systems that create financial independence. Lastly, problem solving and innovation give you the ability to identify opportunities, create solutions, and build something valuable from nothing. The question is, which skill will you commit to mastering? The biggest mistake people make is trying to learn everything at once. They jump from one opportunity to another without developing deep expertise in any one area. But millionaires know that mastery comes from intense focus on one high-income skill. The goal is to become world-class in something valuable, because expertise is what makes you irreplaceable and highly paid. Now, how do you actually learn and apply a high-income skill? The answer is immersion and execution. Learning is important, but action is everything. The fastest way to master any skill is to start practicing it immediately. If you want to learn sales, start selling something today. If you want to learn digital marketing, run a campaign today. If you want to invest, put money in the market today. Millionaires don't wait until they feel ready. They take action, make mistakes, and learn from experience. For the first 30 days, focus on learning intensely. Read books, take online courses, watch tutorials, and study experts in the field. Absorb knowledge like a sponge, but don't just consume. Take notes, write down key strategies, and prepare to apply them. The next 30 days should be dedicated to immediate action. If you're learning sales, start making calls and pitching. If you're learning marketing, start running ads or building content. If you're learning investing, start with a small amount of money and track your decisions. In the final 30 days, refine and scale your skills. Analyze what's working and improve your process. Get feedback from experts and mentors, and scale your efforts by increasing your volume or expanding into bigger opportunities. By the end of 90 days, you will have real-world experience, confidence, and results. Most people never take action because they fear failure. But failure is not the enemy, inactivity is. Every millionaire has failed more times than they can count. The difference is, they kept going until they mastered their craft. Another powerful way to accelerate skill development is surrounding yourself with people who are already successful in that area. If you want to become a world-class marketer, spend time with top marketers. If you want to be a great investor, study under investors. Your environment directly influences your growth, and proximity to success speeds up success. The most financially successful people in the world didn't just stumble into wealth. They built the skills that created opportunities. You don't need a college degree. You don't need a fancy background. You just need to commit to becoming excellent at something valuable. When you do, money will follow you wherever you go. So now, it's time to decide. Which skill will you master? Write it down. Commit to it, learn, execute, improve, and repeat.
I want you to think about this here. In your entire lifetime, how much money has gone through your hands? How much? Let me explain to you what I mean by this. Maybe you made $73,000 last year at 28 years old, and the first time you got a check was 14 years old, it was $100. Add that whole thing up, you'll come out with a number, $493,000, or $1.9 million, or $6.3 million, depending on who it is watching this video. The question is this: how much is left in your wallet? Truly, what is in your wallet? Not what's in your wallet with capital choice. I'm talking like really, what's in your wallet? What do you have left? How much savings do you have left? And if you're not too happy with this question, it's very simple. The reason why you don't have a lot of money left is because you don't know how to play the money game. Simple as that. So today in this video, I'm gonna cover with you 20 rules of money. These are rules of money that I followed, and it's obviously from a lot of mistakes I made, because there was a point in my life where I had made money, there was nothing left in my pocket. So I'm telling you from my experiences. But rule number one is the most important one. And it's the one you have to buy into immediately. It's very simple. You can fight it, say whatever you want to do to it. It's a rule. And the rule is, it's a game. Money is a game. And the great thing about any game is the following thing. No matter what game you play the most, eventually get good at it. If I've never played chess and I play you and you played 100 times chess, you're probably going to beat me. If I have played Monopoly 1,000 times and you played 3 times, I'm probably going to beat you because it's a game. So the great thing about the money game is it can be learned. So many times people fight it and they have problems with it, and they say, well, you know, that person became rich because they're smart, this person did this. No. They learn the game, and you can also take the time to learn the game. Rule number 2 is don't be a hater of money. If you hate money, you'll never get it, because money doesn't like haters. So if you're a hater and you constantly say things like, well, money doesn't grow on trees, and money is this, and money is that, and rich people are this, you're right. Money says, you're right, I'm not turned on by you. It's almost as if going on a date with an attractive girl and telling the girl that you don't like attractive girls who don't know a lot about philosophy, and all they care about is their looks and doing makeup and doing this and working out and going to the gym. And this girl's like, dude, I put makeup on, I work out every day to stay in shape, but I also like other things in my life. But you know what, you're right. You're not attracted to me, I don't like you. She goes and finds another guy that says, I like a girl that takes care of her body. I like a girl that takes care of her skin. I like a girl that does makeup. I like a girl that works out 5 days a week. She's attracted to that guy. Keep that part of mind. Don't be a hater with money. Number 3, it's a doubles game. Listen, this should you can stop watching the entire video. You got the main things out of the way. It's a double game. And by the way, at the end of the video, I'm gonna give you a free PDF. It's a double game. What is a double game? The entire game of money, it's about doubling your money. So what do you mean, Pat, doubling your money? Let me explain it to you this way. If you right now have $1,000 in your bank account, if you're watching this, you have $1,000 cash, You are 10 doubles away from $1 million. That's it. You're 5 doubles away from having $32,000. You're 13 doubles away from having $8.192 million. You're 14 doubles away from $16 million. It's a doubles game. So how soon can you double your money? That's truly the game. Can you take that $1,000 and double it to $2,000 in the next year? So the next thing is, now it's $2,000 you have an account. Now you are 9 steps away from $1 million. You may say, Pat, I already have $100,000 in my account. Well, guess what? You're 4 doubles, 3 doubles away from $1 million. All you gotta, it's a doubles game. This is a piece of cake when you'll learn it's a doubles game. So the question then becomes what? How soon, this is the real game of doubles. It becomes 2 different things. Risk tolerance, because you gotta know yourself when it comes to money. Your risk tolerance, depending on the age you're at, if you're 65, your risk tolerance is gonna be lower than you being 22 years old, right? So you have your risk tolerance, you need to know you. Then the other part is time horizon. What is your time horizon? So time horizon could be, I want to have $1 million by 10 years from now. Great. If it's 10 years, what do you have right now? Then you have to play your doubles game. How many doubles do I have with the $17,000 to get to $1 million? It's a simple game that you can learn what to do. As long as you know your risk tolerance, you know your time horizon, what it is and what the amount is, then you're playing the doubles game. Number 4, seduction. Let me explain to you about seduction, okay? Listen, I use the analogy with ladies because it's just how it is, okay? Money likes to be seduced. Money's attracted to seducers. Just like a woman doesn't like a desperate man, money doesn't like desperate people. Money's not attracted to desperate people who want it so bad because they want to make this money and show it off to everybody. No. Money's seduced. You need to seduce money. Seduce money, and all of a sudden money says, ooh, I like this guy. I like this girl. Oh my gosh, I'm turned on to you. Don't let money seduce you. You seduce money. It's a seduction game. So whoever learns a seduction game with money, all of a sudden money starts coming from all over the place to you because money is turned on by people that know exactly what they're doing. Money likes investors who know what they're doing. Okay, a girl goes on a date with a guy that knows what he's doing, she's most likely to come back, and then there's experience. So to learn how to seduce money, once you learn this whole thing, you'll get better at this game as well. Next, timing. Timing when it comes down to money. Let me explain about timing. I'm not talking timing like this is the best time to invest into Snapchat or this is the best time to buy the IPO of Facebook and etc. I'm not talking that timing. Although that's a whole different conversation with timing. Timing, I'm talking about running a business. I'll give you an idea. There was a time where logically I had to cut down, okay, in my business. And I had to get rid of 2 or 3 employees. Logically, I had to cut down. But I knew what I was getting ready to do, and I had access to all the information. I decided to double down, and that helped expand the business to new area, new territories. So, and then the other part is cutting down expenses, is you knowing maybe numbers are looking very good, but there's an area that needs to be cut down that no one else knows about the information. You need to cut down because you have access to all the information. So there's got to be a part where you need to know, and this is a thing that we can't teach you. This is not something I can teach you about. But this is going to be a part of it that you're going to learn from experience with timing. Timing with when you buy, timing on when you invest, timing on when you stay light, timing on when you stay liquid, timing on when you go. There's a timing aspect to all those decisions you'll make. Number 6, boredom. Let me explain what boredom means. Money needs to be moved, okay? Again, if a girl is bored with you, she leaves you because you're too boring. Same with men. If a man is bored with a girl, they're going to leave because it's boring. Money doesn't like to be bored. What do I mean? If money stays in a checking account, money's going to somebody else who knows how to use that money. If money is just staying somewhere and it's not working, it's too boring, it goes to somebody else that knows what to do with money. So you got to make sure money's always moving. Money's always moving for you, always moving for you, always moving for you, always working for you, always out there doing something to create more money for you.
Wealth creation comes down to one word: discipline. That's it. The ability to look at something and say, I'm not going to buy that. I'm going to keep that money working for me. Not many people have that discipline.
If you don't have the discipline to save $1,000, you don't have the discipline when you make a lot of money. You're going to spend it all. It's not really the $1,000 as much as what it represents.
Whatever you earn, don't spend more than 2/3 of what you earn. Save 1/3. because you will need that 1/3 in times of difficulty. And also, the 1/3 that you save gives you what you call optionality, flexibility.
The most valuable financial skill that anybody can have is not needing to impress other people. If you don't need to impress other people, that is an asset on your balance sheet that is worth $1 billion. Because so much of society as a whole and the individual is just geared towards how can I get other people's attention? How can I show off to other people? How can they like me more?
I believe in life, one of our main goals is just to be happy. But the thing is, if you spend all of your money today on clothing, traveling, and luxury goods, you might be happy today, but you're not going to be happy in the future when you have to work until the day that you die because you can't afford to retire. And so if you want to learn to be happy in life, you need to learn how to find a balance between spending money today and enjoying life today while saving money for your future so that you can enjoy your future.
We all want to have financial freedom, of course. Everybody wants to have financial freedom. But if you want to get to financial freedom, what do you have to have? You have to have financial discipline. You have to have the discipline to work hard. You have to have the discipline to save your money. You have to have the discipline to invest your money properly. You have to have the discipline not to buy stupid things that you don't even actually need. And if you can have that kind of financial discipline, you'll end up with financial freedom.
It takes discipline to stick to your budget. It takes discipline to invest your extra cash in your index fund rather than blow it on designer clothes or a fancy holiday. It takes discipline to get up early or stay up late working on your side business to generate extra income that you can then invest. It takes discipline to pay off high interest debt rather than buying more things on credit just because you can.
Let me tell you something powerful. Success is not an accident. It's not luck. It's not talent. It is a decision backed by two forces: vision and discipline. Vision is where you're going. Discipline is what gets you there. You can dream of the mountain, but without discipline, you'll never take the first step. You can imagine the life you want, the wealth, the health, the impact. But if you can't control your time, your habits, your emotions, that vision will stay a fantasy.
There was a Spanish distiller said the good life is expensive. There's another way to live that doesn't cost as much, but it isn't any good. I subscribe to that.
And so what you got to do is you got to realize that every day is the day that you live, and every day sort of compounds. And every decision you make in that day will compound, meaning that it will build on itself. And so if you make a right decision, like save, sometimes it doesn't feel like the right thing to do, right? You know, sometimes buying something nice and that makes you feel good feels much better.
A little therapeutic.
But you gotta really
I'm a victim.
pull it together. It's just like working out. It's about discipline, and it's about a long-term vision, understanding that you starting here, that's point A, there's going to be a point B, point C, and so forth.
Why does discipline equal freedom?
Because the more discipline you have in your life, the more freedom you will end up with. So if you lack the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up being a slave to disease. If you lack the discipline to work hard, save your money, you will end up a slave to finances. If you lack the discipline to manage your time correctly, you will end up with no free time. If you have self-discipline, if you have the discipline to save your money and work hard and invest your money properly, if you have the discipline to manage your time correctly and not waste a bunch of time, if you have the discipline to exercise and eat healthy, you will end up with freedom.
Number one, you need to have a written plan, a budget. Jesus said, don't build a tower without first counting the cost, lest you get halfway up and you're unable to finish, and all who see you begin to mock you and say, this man began to build. No one began to build and was unable to finish. No one accidentally wins at anything, and you're not the exception.
Why is it that two people can sit side by side in the same office, start with the same paycheck, and yet a decade later, one is living with freedom while the other is suffocating under debt? Let me give you the truth you don't want to hear. It's not luck, it's not talent, and it's not the economy. The great divider isn't income, it's discipline. You can double your salary and still end up broke if your habits are sloppy. You can earn modest wages and quietly build wealth if your habits are wise. That's the contradiction most people never face. You think more money will solve your problems, but more money without discipline only multiplies chaos. Here's the reality. Your financial destiny isn't waiting for a raise, it's waiting for you to take control. And if you stay with me, I'll show you how. When I was young, I thought money was the answer. If I could just earn more, I believed all the pressure would disappear. But here's what life taught me. Income doesn't equal wealth. I met people making over $100,000 a year who were living paycheck to paycheck, stressed out and drowning in bills.
You can't have a person worrying about money and thinking about debt and always working at getting out of debt that's going to end up wealthy. They're not going to do it. If your goal is to get out of debt, you'll probably stay in debt forever because you attract what you think about.
The harder you work, the better you get. The harder you work, the better you get. You know, in our society, there's a lot of controversy over why should I work so hard for my job. The fact of the matter is that less than 5% really succeed. That's less than 5% of the population really succeed at life. Of 100 people working today, only 1 will be wealthy when they retire. 4 will be financially independent. 15 will have some savings. 80% will be broke and dependent upon charities and pensions. Only 1 or 2% of people in each generation really makes it in life. And in every single study, those people who make it are those who work hard, hard, hard. And if you think that it's hard to be successful, try being a failure. Try coming to the end of the trail with no money, dependent upon pensions, and you don't know what hard is until you try living like that.
Saving money for later in life. This is something that a lot of people struggle with. A lot of people have a hard time investing money or saving money for later in life, simply because as human beings, we vary in the extent to which we worry about what's going to happen later. There's also a phenomenon of so-called delayed discounting. Delayed discounting is the fact that goals become less rewarding when they exist further out in the future.
I had $1,000 in my bank and I went out and I bought a $1,000 watch. I was like 18 years old, right? So it was like, I was in that industry, the entertainment industry. I wanted to look cool. And then, you know, I start to read these money books and my mindset starts to shift. And now all of a sudden it's like I went from one polar extreme to the other polar extreme. I don't want to spend a penny.
On anything.
On anything.
Unless it's making me money.
Exactly. I don't want to spend anything unless it's making me money. So now I'm saving as much money as I can. I'm investing my money as much as I can. I'm trying to build my business. And I'm talking like I'm running my shoes into the ground. They have holes in them. I put a piece of tape, wrap it up. I'm going to school. I got rental properties, but I got my shoes that are taped up, right? And it's like, I realize that I'm going to go, like, I'm not going to make those same mistakes again.
Discipline turns dreams into plans, plans into actions, and actions into results. Think of it like this. Vision is the blueprint. Discipline is the hammer and nails. One without the other is worthless. Every successful person you admire, they had a clear vision. But more importantly, they had the guts to show up when they didn't feel like it, to say no to distractions, to stay focused when no one was watching. They built a bridge brick by brick, day by day, while others waited for the perfect moment. You want success? Then don't wait. Get a vision so clear it burns in your soul. Then back it up with ruthless daily discipline, even when it's hard. Especially when it's hard. Because that is the bridge to the life you were meant to live.
A lot of what's probably giving you stress in life is that you don't have control over what you're doing. And if you view every dollar of savings that you have as a bit of your future that you own and control, then I think that mindset can shift pretty dramatically. And it's like, that's the ticket out. The ticket out is not a nicer car. It's not a bigger house. It's not better clothes. The ticket out is independence. That's what's going to give you the better career. It's what's going to make you happier. It's what's going to make you healthier. And the only thing that's going to give you independence is having enough money saved up so that you can choose where you want to live, maybe even what job you want. You can choose at some point down the road when you retire. If you get sick, it's not just going to break you immediately. Having that independence is going to take more weight off your shoulders than anything else you can do in life.
Save money.
That's it.
Discipline is the highest form of self-respect. It's the decision to stop being dragged by your impulses and instead become the architect of your actions. And you don't need a perfect system. You don't need a 5-year plan. You just need one day today where you do not flinch. You do not bend. You do not give in to the voice that says, maybe later. Today you say no to the old patterns.
Like, the most underrated thing is budgeting. Okay, I don't care if you're only making
$2,000 a month or you're making $100,000 a month. If you don't know how to budget your money and you don't know where your money is going, like, you're already going to fail at that point.
Never finance anything that isn't going to pay you. Okay, so
give me an example.
Gucci, your vacations, your car. Stop financing these things that aren't paying you. And people are going to get upset when I say your car, because they're going to say, wait, how am I supposed to buy a car without a car payment?
Don't buy a $100,000 car unless you got the money in the bank to buy it. And plus more. Buy a used car for $6,000.
Exactly.
You got to get out of debt. Your most powerful wealth building tool is your income. And when you spend your whole freaking life giving your money to banks who fill up the skyline and have furniture nicer than yours, that makes you stupid. Get out of debt. When you don't have any payments, you know what you've got? Money.
Debt is a leading cause of financial stress. It impacts decision making, all of these things. And a lot of people look at their credit card debt and they bury their heads in the sand because they think this is something I can never get myself around.
Once you start, something shifts inside of you. You no longer see yourself as just a worker, you see yourself as a builder. You stop living only for today and start building for tomorrow. Every deposit, no matter how small, is a brick in the house of your financial independence. Now let me add something deeper. Discipline doesn't just protect your wallet, it shapes your character. Every time you choose to save instead of spend, you're not only building wealth, you're building identity. You're becoming the kind of person who can be trusted with more. The universe has a strange way of rewarding those who prove faithful with little by entrusting them with more. But if you squander the little, why would you ever be given much? Think of the farmer. He doesn't need every seed he has because he knows seeds are not just food, they are tomorrow's harvest. He takes a portion, plants it, waters it, protects it. Months later, the harvest multiplies. Discipline works the same way. You take a portion of today's income and plant it.
If you're just grinding through the pain without knowing why, that's not discipline. That's suffering. And most people quit not because it was hard, but because they had no reason to keep going. This is what real discipline is. Discipline isn't about pursuing harder. It's about building something that lasts. Use it, man. Use it. Use it to build your 10.0 self.
So if you sincerely want to beat the odds, to achieve financial independence and retire wealthy, there are 4 critical steps that you must take, all starting with the letter D. The first step is desire. You must want it badly enough to make an unshakable commitment and to be willing to make sacrifices of all kinds. The more intense your desire, the more likely it is you will overcome all the obstacles between you and your financial goals. The second D in this formula is decision. You must make a decision right now to do whatever is necessary and be willing to pay any price, go any distance within law to achieve your goal. This decision is the turning point in your life. The third D for mastery is determination, which is to keep at it until you succeed in spite of all the problems and obstacles you will experience. And the fourth D is discipline. It's the discipline to master yourself, to develop the habits necessary for achieving financial independence.
My ultimate happiness comes from being at peace. The freedom from wanting something. Because I learned that when I finally buy the thing I want, I feel good, not because now I have the thing, but because I no longer have to carry the burden of wanting it. The happiness doesn't come from owning the thing, it comes from the ability to. It comes from not needing it. Next time you buy something, just think about how it makes you feel right after. Now, a trick I learned that helps me avoid buying things is to save enough money for that thing, and then when I finally have enough money to buy it, I say to myself, I could buy that, and then I don't. And it's that ability to say that I can allows me to feel the accomplishment without needing to actually own it, and it gets me over the need of actually buying it.
Carve out a few hours to think, which means turn off the phone, you're not texting, you're not looking at Instagram and so forth, and think, and write down your assessment of what you did last week and then what you need to do next week to address the things you forgot to do last week. I know that sounds kind of obvious, but it's a good trick because it forces you to take charge of your next week. Like, oh, I forgot that I have a sales problem over there. Or I forgot I was supposed to call this person. Oh, I didn't have this proposal and I had this idea, but I didn't get to it.
Don't buy all that crap you don't need. I think about all the crap I bought that I never used. I mean, it's amazing, all the shoes, all the pants, all the shirts that I never wore after the first time I bought them. What a waste of money. I could have had that money making 7 or 8% a year in perpetuity.
You pray for change but serve the same habits. You wish for freedom but refuse the discipline that buys it. You can't have both. You must choose. It will hurt. It will be uncomfortable. And that's exactly the point. Discipline is not about feeling good. It's about doing what is right, especially when you don't feel like it. It's the cold steel silence of progress. No applause, no dopamine, just raw movement. That's where your future is built, not in motivation, but in mastery. Not in emotion, but in execution.
Discipline has to have an element of pleasure. Consistently doing your work has to have rewards. Reward is the key word here, right? So if you never feel a direct, pleasurable sensation from what discipline is giving you, then it's never going to work.
So resilience and flexibility and optionality, I think, should be built in the way we think about financial security. Cost of living varies from person to person. It depends on what you consume, what you spend your money on. That's why I come back again to this principle of frugality. Spend on what is essential, especially in difficult times. Try to save. Saving for a rainy day, such as when cost of living goes up, is very important. It's about resilience.
So the next time you're tempted by something you don't need, stop and ask yourself, is this feeding my future or just my feelings? Because every purchase is a trade. You're either buying today's thrill or tomorrow's freedom. Which matters more? Remember, this wealth doesn't shout in whispers. It's built quietly, consistently, patiently. Small acts of discipline done over and over again. You won't see the results overnight, but give it time and you'll look back amazed at how far you've come. Discipline, my friend, is not punishment. It's the highest form of self-respect. It's telling your money, I'm in charge. I will decide where you go. I will give you purpose. And that simple shift is what separates the dreamers from the achievers. When people tell me they are bad with money, I remind them of a truth they've forgotten. No one is born disciplined.
In the house of the wise are stores of choice food and oil, but a foolish man devours all that he has. If you spend everything you make, you're a fool.
Wealthy people have that discipline. You meet them later in life, you realize when they were young and had nothing, even the ones that were employees their whole lives that are now financially free had the discipline to say no. There's so much stuff you don't need. And you should never buy a watch unless you can afford it. Ever go on debt for a watch, because people hear this stuff say, I'm going to buy watches like O'Leary with red bands. No, you're not.
I start every day with a feeling of gratitude for being alive in this period and having the resources and the friends and the world that is around me. And my advice to people is, if you don't wake up feeling gratitude about that, then you need to change something, because a life lived based on gratitude is a good way to start.
And now you got the money to be rich. You got to act like rich people. And that's not go spend a bunch of money, moron, because rich people don't go spend a bunch of money. I'm going to go buy a Ferrari. I'm acting like rich people. No, you're acting like a moron. Ferraris aren't rich people. That's the ultra rich.
The race to riches isn't won by speed, but by silence. While others chase, you calculate. Money flows not to the loudest, but to the one who changed the game. Genius isn't born, it's forged in the frontier of discipline. Let them sprint in circles. You move when the world isn't watching and strike when it's too late to stop you.
The reality is, if you have to go, I don't care how rich you are, I don't care whether you're like a top Wall Street banker, if somebody can tell you when to be at work and what to wear and how to behave, you're not a free person. You're not actually rich. So we're in this model now where we think it's all about employment and jobs. And intrinsic in that is that I have to work for somebody else. But the information age is breaking that down.
That dreams mean nothing without action. That passion without discipline is poison. You want the world to move for you, you must first prove to yourself that you are worthy of its movement. That proof comes through motion, day after day, choice after choice, step after step. You can pray for a new life, you can speak affirmations every morning, you can journal your goals and visualize your future, but none of it matters if you refuse to act.